believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up. So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high-quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music.
I feel the need for speed.
Right, take two. It's your main man, Andy Gillard here. Hope everybody's keeping well in the world.
Put it at the end. We're back again. Fucked up already. 9:15 on a Thursday. Hello.
Hello again, it's Ash. You've missed me and Stu talking about our old alcoholic drinks of choice.
VK Blue through the eye.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one, Stu. I mean, that stuff tasted like piss. I can't imagine it was much better through the eyeball.
We used to have gas chambers, which was just absinthe set on fire, and then you put a glass over the top so all the smoke stays in the thing, and then you suck up the gas. Yeah.
That just doesn't sound appealing in the slightest.
It wasn't. It fucked you up.
It's absinthe as well, so it's not... I mean, I don't know, because I never did that. I mean, I used to drink some... my uncle was kind of like... I think his dad or his granddad was Hungarian, and he was obviously through marriage, and whenever he used to go back over there into the homeland, he'd come back with this Belgian green chartreuse, and I never really knew what it was, but it proper messed you up. It was evil. It was like 50%. I just like he said, just sip it. Don't do anything silly. Just sip it. And you used to have it. You have it as a short, and you make it last for hours. It was like it burnt your mouth.
I went on a stag do in Hungary. That I can attest to that. We had that.
I've never even heard of it before.
Green chartreuse. No, you can get it.
It sounds like a lingerie thing, not a fucking drink. Like
green French liqueur made by Carthusian monks since 1840 from a secret blend of 130 herbs, plants, and spices. There you go.
I mean, that sounds appalling.
Yeah, 55% ABV, 110 proof.
Get some for Andy's birthday present.
Oh, yeah.
60
quid a bottle? Fucking hell.
I still got that picture of you, me, and little Dan playing fucking FIFA, was it, Stu? Until it was 3 a.m?
It was Pro Evo 20.
Great days.
Yeah, because he got so many tops off streaming on Twitch.
3 a.m. drinking Beaujolais. How else am I going to spend a birthday mid-lockdown?
It was... what was the point of it? I can't even remember.
So we had... Because it was lockdown and we were trialling... the quizzes that were quite popular at that point. We did that. And then throughout the night, people just dropped off, and then it just ended up being the three of us drinking till the wee hours, playing sports on the PlayStation
in our own houses.
I kind of missed the pandemic for that stuff because it was kind of fun in a weird way.
And then we do this every week anyway.
Yeah, true, very true. Right, so we have to talk about it before we go any further.
The film of the
It's
year.
unavoidable. It is the film. It's in contention immediately for film of the year. I like my first thought is it's top 3 for me so far.
Top 2.
It'll probably need a rewatch of at least 2 of those 3 to really get into it. But a film about sheep, like, it has absolutely no right to have been anywhere near as deep and thought-provoking and genuinely all ages. Like, normally when people say it's an all-age comedy, that means it's fine for kids. But this was like the other way around. This was fine for adults to enjoy. Mm-hmm. I've seen people refer to it as Babe meets A Glass Onion. And it is. It's got like both of those. It's going to get a younger audience in. It's going to get your older audience in who likes a murder mystery. But The Sheep Detectives was an absolute fucking gem of a movie.
And I'll throw in, I mean, people will know what I mean, especially now it's back. The kind of comedy and the kind of like knowing looks of Balamory as well. Like it's shit, but it's for an age group. But this is anything but. It should not work. And adding more work for you, if you go back on that episode where we talked about like, the films for the next 6 months,
yeah,
and you mentioned this, and you just said the premise, went, "Oh fuck yes, this sounds amazing," and expecting it to be hilarious, and not knowing anything about it, thinking that it was animated, and then not, and then
you put it to me, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm all over it."
Yeah, because it just the voice cast in itself. And I'd completely forgot about it all, other than Hugh Jackman. I had no idea. So I didn't watch any trailers or anything whatsoever. I just went in. I think there was 3 couples, and there was a guy and his daughter sitting behind me, which I feared the worst. But to be fair, I sat down and I went to turn my phone off, and she said, "Put your phone away." I thought, yes. and it was like, shush. And I went, no, she's right. So I'll put it away in a minute when the trailers come on. And again, silence throughout the whole thing. And it's hard to even say anything about it because other than possibly the best CG of all time.
It's up there. Yeah. It was solid. There's a bit of... so when... I don't want to get too spoilery, but obviously it's a murder mystery, so someone dies. That's not a mystery. There's a part where the sheep put their head in that person's hand, and like there's a weight to it. You see the way his hand reacts, and I know that's obviously the acting as well as the CG, but there's a weight to the CG of it all, which we've watched a lot of slop post 2020. How much stuff have you seen that just looks like it's flying? That there's no weight to it. There's a lot of shit out there, and it wasn't on this. And I repeat, this is a film about sheep. So,
talking sheep.
Yeah.
Talking sheep who talk to each other, and the humans don't know. Even though, as it goes on, and they're just waiting in the background. I mean, you could turn it into a horror film in a way.
Yeah. Then they're just standing there. They're just standing there, and you can just see them, and you're just like, this is outstanding.
Ash, you saw it on the previews the weekend before it's released, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was the crowd like then? Was there much of a turnout?
It was quite busy. It was mostly families, and by the end, you could the kids were just coming out, just kind of cheerful, but the parents were all in tears.
Yeah.
It was incredible. All the adults were just in bits, and then the kids were just like, okay, we kind of enjoyed this, but no, it was just universally, it was just beloved. Like the entire screen was just in absolute pieces, and quite rightly so. Yeah,
I saw it on Sunday afternoon, so I knew there was a chance that it was going to be kids and adults. And I'm usually okay with it because I expect kids to make noise. I'm not that much of an arsehole when it comes to Cinematica. I expect it. I know the situation I'm in, and that's fine. Not a peep out of anybody. It was like one of the most brilliantly observed movies that I've seen in quite a while. Everyone was just open mouth, enjoying themselves throughout this film. Just such a wonderful, heartwarming movie with some tremendous performances. Stu, we've spoken a lot about actors who clearly don't give a shit when they're doing animation. They just phone it in. And there was nobody in this movie, did I think, oh, you're just there for the paycheck. Like, everybody felt like they were giving it their all. Yeah. And it makes such a big difference to buying into it, to the authenticity of it all.
Yeah. I mean, you bought the fact that he was a winter sheep. and an outcast winter sheep, and it made perfect sense. But both of them, and the amount of people. Like, I text Josh Buckley, and he was like, "Are you serious?" I went, "I've never been more serious in my life. Go and watch this film." and I rang my mom, and she was like, "Well, I'm not going to watch that." I went, "Yeah, but you'll be missing out on one of the best experiences of the year." And I know one takes you seriously because it shouldn't work, and yet the buzz around this and the comments and you talked about the Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. But when both sides of the evil divide agree on something, that's something special most of the time. And when it's something as weird as this, that clearly should be just a kid's comedy, it really isn't at all. And I'd kind of say it's not for kids in a way. Because as an adult, you get a lot more out of this than you would if you're under 10. When I came out, I said, yeah, this is behind Project Hail Mary. That's the only thing I've seen that's better than this. But as the days go on, I'm kind of second-guessing myself.
That gap is closing, isn't it?
It's like, I've only seen both of them once, and this is now on a 9.5 compared to that film's 10. And it's that close.
Yeah.
It should never be, but it is.
No, I completely agree. I'm just checking what I gave it on Letterboxd.
You gave it the same as me, 4.5.
I thought it was a 4.5, like a 9. The more I think about it, the more I think this might actually be a 5-star film.
Yeah,
it needs a rewatch. I think what tipped me to thinking that I may have underrated it, I watched a clip from School of Rock the other day, and School of Rock I think is a perfect film. And I actually think this is a perfect film as well, you know? Like, I don't think there's any slack to this movie. It's edited perfectly. Like, on the technical side, everything's got the weight that it needs to be. There's no sag to it. It's brilliant. And then on the other side of it, just like the pure enjoyment factor, it's got everything I want in the movie. I loved it.
Like, the emotional moments and the heartbreaking moments, they're just perfect. The bit that gets to me is... without spoiling it, they're with Mopple, Chris O'Dowd's sheep, when his characteristic of what he can do, and then when Lily, the main sheep, realizes what he can do and what he's had to live with, and she go, "You've had to realize all this time." Oh my god, I was in bits when something happens.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was in. Oh yeah, and she realizes what he's had to live with this entire time. It's like, oh my god. This shouldn't be this.
I mean, you mentioned Glass Onion, and that's exactly what it is. The layers to it is ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's currently 4th for the week, I think. Devil Wears Prada 2 is the big one. I get it. It's a massive franchise that was beloved. Michael's in at number 2. Mortal Kombat 2 is the 3rd biggest.
Yes.
I think... Yeah, that's on 63 million cumulative worldwide total. This is on 28 million.
It'll never.
It's genuinely quite a crazy thing that it's even in the conversation with some big movies that this is still breaking through. Like, I know Mario Galaxy's been out a while, but you've still got the pull of the Mario films that is still rolling on. So it's quite amazing to think that this has broken through, if only for a weekend, but it's a glorious weekend for it to be there.
I mean, I'm just looking. I'm second guessing if there was puppets in there as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't care really. However it was done, it was immaculate. But yeah, what is the budget on it? 75?
75.
75.
A lot of CG.
Yeah. And it looks like that. Puts a lot of people to shame.
It won't make its money back on its theatrical run, but it's an Amazon MGM movie, so it'll make its money back on Amazon. Like, it will. We just know it will, and it deserves to. Like, remember when that dog shit rock film was like the biggest film of the year on Amazon? This is going to be that. I think once it hits Amazon, I think it's going to have a second wave of. It's going to have all the people who are like, "Oh, I wish I'd have seen this at the cinema."
Yeah, and I think
that's your Christmas film sorted.
Yeah. And it could be it could be the new thing to watch at Christmas. That's not a Christmas film as well.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, definitely.
It's. I presume we're going to save Mortal Kombat 2 for the end of the month.
Have you seen it yet, Stu?
Yeah. I saw it. I saw Sheep Detectives on Tuesday, and then I watched Mortal Kombat yesterday.
What did you think?
Class.
We can do that one as well.
You might as well.
I thought it was. I mean, watched Commander Mayo's short take thing on that today, and the fact that he liked it.
I was quite surprised.
It was more Mortal Kombat than the first film, and that's exactly what you want it to be. When the bit, I know that the bit that you're on about the worst CG of it, I mean, you go from the best to the worst, where the bit where the falling doll, but the whole thing with the sunglasses and just perfect. I think that interview kind of summed it up where he said that they didn't realise what they had with the first film, so they give him a bit more money. And he just goes balls out mental, which is what Mortal Kombat always was. And like when he's there and he's doing his be an actor, and that whole thing of that scene and him with a clan of them, it was silly. It was a silly, fun waste of 2 hours. And that's all it was ever going to be, and I'm thankful that that's what it was.
Ash?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like you can't go into a Mortal Kombat movie expecting cinema. It's bollocks, isn't it? Like I went in expecting bollocks, and I got bollocks. So yeah, I have no complaints, and I got the little voice bits of fucking get over here and stuff like that, and I cheered, and nobody cared. People were happy. Like I didn't go in expecting this magical thing, like Sheep Detectives or whatever. But no, like it's a palate cleanser if nothing else.
All men in their 30s as well, on their own.
Oh yeah.
Class.
Of course it was. Like, let's be honest, this is a 40-year-old fucking franchise at this point. Yeah, it is all our age entirely. I mean, I hated it, obviously. It was terrible. Like, he's good. I like him anyway, Carl Urban. He's fun and he gets it. And he did. Like, he was fine in it. I just hated how every time anyone spoke, it was just pure exposition. Like, there was no moment of like genuine, heartfelt love for each other or anything. It was just, I need to say this because we're driving the plot on through 2 fucking hours of this movie. And I'm getting a headache at this point. And yeah, the CG was absolutely horrific. Some of the worst we've seen for a while. Really bad.
In parts, I mean, most of it was fine, but there were
too much green screen.
The bits
Sorry.
The bits that were very bad were extremely, really like Scorpion King bad.
Yeah.
And there was no excuse for that, especially like if it's green screen or volume or whatever the hell it is. I don't really care at this point for a film like this. It's based off a fucking silly game, so it doesn't really matter.
I get you. But the only issue with it is that they use it too much. Like, a scene where they're in a car park doesn't need green screen. Just shoot it in a fucking car park. That's my issue with a lot of it now. I mean, it's not the most egregious film I've seen this year. It's bad, but it wasn't boring. And like, I feel like I'd rather watch a bad film than a boring film. Like, I kind of think Annihilation is a boring film, whereas this was probably worse, but at least it had Carl Urban in it, and I think that was the barometer that I needed to just get through it in the end.
And not being what he is in The Boys either, like we feared he might be. Being almost the opposite.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on, Ash, last week we did KG Awards for Cruising the 80s. Best performance went to Born on the 4th of July.
Yep.
Worst performance went to Legend.
Yep.
Best Maverick went to Top Gun, obviously. Best film went to Top Gun. Best movie went to Rain Man.
Yep.
We have 2 that we need a ruling on because we were split on it.
Okay.
Do you have any arguments against any of the other awards first, or are you in agreement with what we've handed out so far?
Yeah, no, we're all right with them. Yeah.
Superb. Right, so the rulings that we need, the best sunglasses, let's do that one first. So we were kind of split. The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards Risky Business over the glasses that he wears in Rain Man. I think the Wayfarers from that are better than is it Clubman? Is that the glasses that I think he's wearing? And obviously, so it's going to be Risky Business versus Top Gun. Ash, what's the decider? Where are we going?
I mean, the more iconic ones are the Aviators, the Top Gun ones. But I prefer the Risky Business ones. So I'm not really a Ray-Bans kind of guy, so I've got to go with Risky Business for that one.
Excellent. Like, I think that's where he got his the cruisiness of the sunglasses is where it started. That's the genesis of Tom Cruise wearing sunglasses. So I think that's fair. The worst experience, it's between Cocktail and Young Guns.
It's a shame Ed's not here because me and him just absolutely berated both things. No, Young Guns, it pissed us off. Just no. I think I probably speak for both of us here, but yeah, Young Guns has to.
It's fair because, like, we had to watch it and he wasn't in it and he didn't enjoy it. At least I enjoyed it, so like that gets away with it. So I think that's entirely fair. Right, okay, so we're going to continue on with the third age of grown-up cartoons as we look at Seth MacFarlane's work next. Welcome back. So, Seth MacFarlane. I sort of made an analogy over the last couple of weeks. Like The Simpsons were the Beatles, polished, melodic, eventually foundational to the world. South Park was the Sex Pistols. It was raw, it was loud, and designed to offend. I think that Seth MacFarlane's work is the iPod shuffle of animation. Like, it's just a scrambled mix bag of randomized cultural moments and ideas. It doesn't really hold a mirror up to the viewer in the way that South Park and Simpsons did. This holds a mirror up to the television that the viewer watches. Like, it's more pop culture than it is socio-political, almost, I feel. So where The Simpsons and South Park, I think, tell you something about who you are as a person, Family Guy just reminds you of things that you may have watched in the past. An American Dad sort of pulls apart the skeleton of the sitcom, covering like the tropes of the genre, but without ever really pretending to care about the depth of warmth that's usually associated with the genre of sitcom. The story of Family Guy is one of modern media's greatest Lazarus acts, though. So it arrived in 1999. It was one of those shows, apparently, where you see it all the time, where Fox doesn't know where to put it on its TV channel. So it keeps moving day and time, and it never finds a settled place. And then after 3 seasons, it just got canned because they didn't know what they were doing with it. But what happened is something that I don't think that we've seen before and probably won't ever see again. So it was an unprecedented amount of DVDs sold that brought this show back. It wasn't just like a few, it wasn't just like a little bump. Millions of people bought the 3 seasons DVDs, enough to make the executives sit up and see dollar signs in their eyes, like they knew they'd left something on the table. So it made the industry realise for the first time that adult animation wasn't just a time slot, it was a market. There was something there that people wanted. Fox didn't really resurrect it from affection for the show. They did it because the maths told them that they had to do it. Like, there's been plenty of shows that have been revived since. So Futurama, Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Community. And before Family Guy, you had Star Trek and Cagney and Lacey, which were both cancelled. But all of those were saved by fans. Originally, it was writing in when it was Star Trek and Cagney and Lacey. But the others, it was fans on social media were driving the resurrection of these shows. But they were saved by protest, not by Amazon sales. It's quite amazing that it wasn't enough for people to say, oh, we do have an audience that we can just steal off someone else. Because oftentimes they just tend to move channels. With this one, it was a case of, oh, there's something to exploit there. We can make money off these. And they did, and their DVD sales, even post-season 4 onwards, were still pretty strong for an animated show, which is kind of unheard of in this day and age. once it returned, it rewired the form. So the cutaway gag, like, it wasn't invented by MacFarlane, but he industrialised it, turned it into a kind of comedic assembly line. He turned the non sequitur, the logical derailment, the obscure musical number into a comedic particle accelerator. It captured this ADHD energy of a generation raised on channel surfing, where memory isn't built from lived experiences, but from serial commercials and sitcom tropes and half-remembered movie scenes. MacFarlane's thesis is pretty simple. We are what we consume, and we consume everything. The joke isn't always in the line. It's in the recognition of what they're saying or doing. It's that little dopamine hit of, oh, I remember that. He transformed the family sitcom into a delivery system for a variety show, almost, proving that the 21st century, the most relatable thing about family isn't the emotional bond that we share. It's the ability to quote The Breakfast Club at a funeral. However, this style hasn't gone unchallenged. Its peers have fired back, most famously South Park dedicated a 2-part special, Cartoon Wars, to absolutely annihilating MacFarlane's writing style, claiming his jokes felt like they were written by manatees who picked up idea balls to create jokes. So those jokes were written at random, like with no connection to the plot or character or anything resembling a narrative. So today, we look at the man who built an empire on the back of a talking dog, a flamboyant baby, and 1,000 references to 80s pop stars, a creator whose work of that nostalgia isn't a feeling anymore, it's a language. So the first question I've got, South Park famously mocked Family Guy by claiming the jokes were written by manatees. Is the cutaway gag a brilliant comedic innovation, or is it a lazy way to avoid writing an actual story? Ash?
Originally, yes, but I think it's now become a bit of a crutch, to be honest. There's only I think it's had a shelf life. Like, I can't remember the last time I watched a Family Guy episode, to be honest. So I used to have all the DVDs up until season 7, 8, 9, something like that. And now I say I haven't watched an episode since, because I just got tired of the same trope, I guess. So I think it's just turned into a bit of a crutch, to be honest.
That's it. So you're not watching it for the story, because there isn't a story.
Yeah,
you're watching it for the gags. And the problem is the gag is the same every single time. So what are you watching it for at this point? Stu?
Yeah, I mean, it used to... Its time slot here was when you're having your dinner, so you didn't have to concentrate very often, which was perfect. But, I mean, I watched it originally on DVD, and my brother had it. I'm sure he did. Or someone had it, and I borrowed it. So I was kind of dipped in and out over the years, and I mean, it's basically the basis of TikTok, isn't it? That's what it is. It was just very early, and it never really been done before like that, other than in like spoof films. But you can only do the same thing over and over against, like you've both said for so long. So I think in the case of Family Guy, that's its thing. You do that in any other show, it ain't going to work. Because it's not you, and you've copied something that's already niche and strange and unique on its own, and it works just about. I mean, there's ones, like, we'll get onto like favourite things and references. Well, one of mine was from last year. I didn't watch the episode, but I watched, like, you see the clips and stuff, and it's perfect fodder for TikTok and Instagram Shorts and YouTube Shorts and everything like that. It's perfect for social media now, and it was obviously never invented for that. But it fits perfectly in the modern world like that for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of you. I think it's a very lazy way of writing, because at no point do I ever feel like they've written a show and written the jokes around what they've written. I feel like they start with the jokes and then just thumb it into whatever the story might happen to be that week. It doesn't really tell you anything about what's going on. Like, it ignores the situation part of situation comedy. Like, it could be a story about Joe getting his legs back, but Peter says a line of, "It's like that time I fought Mecha Hitler," and then it cuts away to a 30-second clip of a Godzilla-like Peter fighting a kaiju-like mechanical Hitler that's got nothing to do with anything. And that's not really very funny. No, that's nothing. That's just a thing, isn't it? And Yeah, that's why I just don't think it's particularly. It was funny at first because I think when it came out, the whole "oh, I'm so random" was kind of a thing, and I think it kind of fit maybe with where we were, but we've moved on from that, and this show hasn't. To the point, like, I mean, I'm with the same issue. I probably haven't watched it for a couple of years, other than the odd episode here and there. It had its moment, and I feel like that moment was over a decade ago at this point. The Simpsons has a rubber band reality where things snap back to normal. Family Guy has no reality. Peter can die in a gag and then be fine 10 seconds later. Does the lack of any consequence make it harder for us to actually care about the Griffins, Stu?
I mean, you don't care about them, do you? They're just there. And this was always the thing with it, even from the very start. It's like, you can't remember, and like, I don't know anyone who has Family Guy toys and plushies. And I mean, Ash is going to turn around and get a Funko Pop now from his vast array. But it's when things are not marketable, other than Stewie maybe, it kind of says everything you need to know about what the characters actually are. And they're conduits for a laugh. They're not characters.
I think I agree, because there's nothing to care about them for. They represent nothing realistically, or they represent like an idea of nothing almost, which is even more vacuous than what they already are. It's weird because I feel like even compared to his other shows, this one feels like the most disposable. Like if you watch American Dad and Ted, like the Ted animated series, you do genuinely care about the characters because they are rounded characters, and that's a proper sitcom the way it's written. In this one, it's nothing. Like you could transpose anybody, any unknown character, immediately into there and tell the exact same jokes, and it would have no bearing whatsoever on anything in the show. So, yeah, I don't think it makes a bit of difference whether you give a shit about them or not. Ash?
I don't think any of their family are likable, though, are they? There's no really redeeming features for any of them. Peter's just it feels like he's just a knockoff Homer. And that's probably where he's based off, but he just feels like a knockoff Homer. But yeah, none of them are really likable. So, but unlike Cartman, where you're actually rooting, like you said last week, like you're rooting against him and you're rooting for him to get his comeuppance. Whereas the family, you're not. Like, it's just not. There's nothing likable about them really. So no.
The early seasons, Stewie was a Matrix-style villain trying to kill his mother. Now he's a tech-savvy, sarcastic time traveller. Which Stewie is the better mirror for the audience? I kind of feel like you've never really been able to identify with him as a character, because he's a psychopath in the early ones, and now he's in Back to the Future almost. Like he's such a weird little character that he almost feels like he just does what they need him to do. And again, I think that a lot of that is down to the fact that there's been zero character development for absolutely anybody in this show. They're all fundamentally the same person as they were when we saw them back in, I can say 1999. No one watched it in 1999. It was the DVDs in 2000. But they haven't changed since we first met these people. So I don't know if there's any age of Stewie, but he's the one that I feel the people love the most. And is that just because he's a baby, maybe? I don't know.
It's the whole thing. I think now, looking at it now, and even at the time, it was like mid-2000s when there was an actual baby in the house in the form of my niece. And like that whole thing about, you look at them and you think, they're plotting something, they are. And this being like a mirror to that, I think that's kind of why it was funny to me, because you literally seen it, and it's the kind of thing that gets discussed. You're like, oh, they've got a look about in that kid, and it was perfect, and giving him that stupid voice as well, perfect. That works. What it is now, no, not at all.
Ash, where do you sit with Stewie?
It feels like you say, he was a villain for the start, and then it feels like he discovered his sexuality a little bit, because he just got camp as all hell, and it's kind of like, because you have to sort of buy into the fact that he's a baby, but he's obviously Yeah. And say it just bends the thing of reality that you're just kind of like, why are you being like this? Because there's a cutscene where he's with his teddy bear, and his teddy bear's all big and muscly, isn't he? And now it's just kind of like, oh, okay, right, okay. So yeah, again, it's just give me Maggie over him. And he doesn't say a word. She doesn't say a word, and it's just
Brian Griffin, is he the voice of reason, or is he a scathing indictment of the pretentious liberal who talks big but does very little? Ash?
Yeah. I think the longer it's gone along, they've shown him up to be more flawed. I think is the best term. I think because originally he was sort of that the sort of the straight man in the whole series, and now he stands for stuff and stuff like that. And then you've got Quagmire who just sees through him. I think it was that episode that changed it all for him, where Quagmire just calls him out on everything. That was the turning point.
Yeah, I feel like Brian is the only character who actually means something outside of the world of the show. Like, I do think that he's arguing with the people who say that they want change and they want good in the world, but they'll do it by complaining on Twitter, not by actually doing it. I think he's the only one who is actually something. Like, nobody else has got any depth. They're all shallow as fuck. Like, Peter, I suppose he's supposed to be the id, the crazy, does what he wants immediately, but that's not really that. Like, he's not saying anything of any real importance, where I feel like Brian does have a bit of a message behind him, and he's the only one, I think. Stu?
I mean, he just stole two of my answers for it a bit again.
Sorry.
Yeah. But I think that is what he is, though. Like, Peter is pretty much the same. He's like, you see these people all the time, and especially like he's equivalent to the Facebook mom. Like they'll be on there virtue signaling and all this kind of bollocks, and she's obviously going to get me riled up, and nothing's ever done, and nothing's ever said, or if it is said, it's not followed up on. Like exactly what you said, and it's just, I think that's probably why he is very unlikable. He's just there, like where you have got certain characters, like you said about Stewie. I mean, Quagmire is. I mean, he reminds me so much of one of my old neighbours as well, which is one of the reasons why I love him so much. The only one in this show, like you said, more for the pervy side of things than that. But yeah, I mean, he's more of the, I think, liberal no doer is what you'd say more than anything else.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate description of him. The American Dad versus Family Guy debate. I mean, I suppose you could also throw in the Cleveland Show if you really wanted to, but I don't think many people even saw that one. Many hardcore fans argue that American Dad is actually the superior show because it relies on character-driven plots rather than random cutaways. Do you prefer the pure chaos of Family Guy or the actual sitcom structure of American Dad? Stu, I'm going to come to you first, but I can't remember if you've actually seen American Dad or not.
I think I probably saw about the first 4 episodes just because it was the new thing, and it was trailed as the new thing beyond the mind of Family Guy. And it just never clicked with me. It was like, well, this is just this. Again, you're talking a while ago, so I'm watching it now. It might do something for me, but no, it was just, at the time, it was just a bit like King of the Hill. Like, I was never like King of the Hill either. Don't know why.
I need to watch it, in fairness, because I feel like King of the Hill is the kind of thing I would really like now.
Yeah,
but when I watched it at the time, I just didn't. Yeah. Ash, where do you sit then between American Dad, Family Guy, and if you saw the Cleveland Show, you can throw that in?
No, I never bothered with Cleveland Show. I've always been a lot more American Dad. I just felt it was edgier, and like I say, you can sort of resonate with the characters a bit more. And if you want to go down a camp character, Roger was a lot better rounded as a character for an alien over a talking baby. So I just thought it was an edgier program in a sense. It was a bit darker with some of the jokes, so I sort of went that way more.
That's fair. I think I agree. I think the peak of American Dad was far better than the peak of Family Guy. I think Family Guy may be more consistent in what it is,
Whereas I think American Dad, when it was good, it was a lot better. And I still watch American Dad, whereas I've completely given up the ghost with Family Guy. And I think it's because, as you say, you can sort of identify the characters slightly more. They're a little bit more rounded, that you can sort of see what their caricatures of certain types of people, and you can see that. And I think that helps with how that works compared to Family Guy, which just feels like throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Show was a bit of a letdown. Like I've always quite liked Black American sitcoms, like Jefferson's, Different Strokes. The Cosby Show, for all its evils now, was a very good show at the time. Everybody Hates Chris. I like that kind of humour, generally speaking. And the Cleveland Show felt like it was a Black American sitcom that was written by a white man. So it didn't, like, the tropes are there, but it's not authentic, and that was the problem.
Were you too old for Sister Sister?
Oh.
No, I watched Sister, but because that came just after Clarissa Explains It All, and I watched that. I quite liked Sister at the time.
What
The
about
mum in
Keenan and
that, like
Kel?
I see. Yeah, I was gone by then. In fact, I don't think I was gone by then. I just didn't like it.
We've talked about this with Good Burger before, and you had no idea what we're on about.
Yeah, because that was it. Because I'd spoke about the time I sat next to Keenan or Kel at the Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know which one it is. I recognise him, but I don't know which one he is.
The fat one or the thin one?
It was the fat one, the one who's on SNL, which I think is Keenan Thompson. Like, I've come to know it now, but I just like referring to him as Keenan or Kel. But yeah, I know now because I've watched Saturday Night Live, but yeah, I was fairly unsure at the time. The only thing I liked was that he was wearing a pair of Nike Chunky Dunkies, which I thought was kind of cool, but that was about it, really. Seth loves a 3-minute long musical number. Are these self-indulgent fillers, or is this part of the show's actual soul? Stu, I mean, you're like me, you're a bit of a song and dance man, you like a musical. When Seth MacFarlane does it add to the show? Is it part of its DNA? Or does it just feel like the fact that Seth MacFarlane's a very good singer and he wants the world to know about it?
I think, like Ash said at the start of this, like when it started, great, quirky, fun. When towards the end of when I started watching it, and like I said, I'm not an expert on the show at all, but it seemed like they were there because they had to be there, rather than because it needed them to be there. Just because it was a trope of the show to have a bit of a song thing. So I think best intentions to start with, but then it just kind of it's one of the rhythms. Play your song, get out, something else, and 22 minutes over.
Yeah. Ash, are you in agreement, or do you think there's more to it than that?
No, I don't think Seth MacFarlane's got that sort of brain to be smarter than that. I think he thought, I can sing here, so I can get this part in, and then it's just mutated and manifested that now it's got to be more and more. I'm just, give it up, kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's somehow managed to get a couple of albums out of it, in fairness. So he's done well for himself off the back of it. Some of my favourite moments probably are the musical parts of it, but that's just because I like musicals. But then there are times where, like, and this might not just be the musical, because I think the chicken fight joke, he doesn't let anything die. And sometimes I feel like he probably needs to. And I think that's where this has sort of gone. It is just a case of, okay, we get the joke. You've done this before. Let's move on. Like the Conway Twitty, where he plays the whole fucking song and that kind of thing, which I know isn't him, but that's still a musical moment that he's forcing in there. That, like, I love, like Stuart Lee does a thing where he will tell a joke and he will keep telling that joke again and again and again. So it starts off funny, then it loses it, and then it comes full circle. And Seth MacFarlane never comes full circle. It just makes you want to kill yourself after so long.
It's the fall when Peter falls down and he does the oh my god! It makes you want to bang your head off a wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wasn't aware, but apparently Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on one of the flights on 9/11 and he missed it. How different would the world have been if he was on there on that flight 25 years ago? I can't believe you said that and I missed it.
Yeah.
Ash, how would the world look without this comedy of his?
Have you seen it's the meme of the flying cars and world peace. I think that. I think we would have. You say we wouldn't have got Ted the TV series, and I think that's the only real miss of what we had, because I don't think this is the Family Guy or American Dad really not being here. It's not going to break the world, really, because I don't think this isn't stuff that you'll talk to your grandkids about. Like, this is the shows. These are the shows that I watched as a kid. Like, you could show them old Simpsons, and I imagine you'd probably still get a laugh out of kids now. But I don't think you will with Family Guy. Just watch TikTok and Vine, like you said.
I kind of feel like Family Guy might be the progenitor for Member Berries. Because it's so nostalgia driven. Would the Member Berries be a thing now? Like, how many times have we criticised films because they're just nostalgia bait? And I feel like a lot of nostalgia bait sort of starts here with Seth MacFarlane. So I wonder if, without Seth MacFarlane, would we have better films that sort of relied on actual storytelling and not just fan service nostalgia slop?
Told you, hover cars.
It does sort of feel like it could be a better world without it. I'm sure there'd be something else equally as awful would have filled the gap, but maybe we should #forget sometimes. I do feel like the rise of Family Guy, and it was pervasive. It was fucking everywhere for a while. I do feel like that sort of held back the way that comedy worked for a while. Because as I said, it was that sort of I'm so random, and that felt very Family Guy-esque.
Scrubs did it though.
Scrubs' cutaways were actually relevant to what they were talking about, though. I think that was the difference.
You also cared about JD and Turk.
Yeah.
They were rounded characters, weren't they? Yeah.
But there were still cutaways that you hadn't really seen, that kind of thing before. Definitely not in non-animated, anyway. I think this is not about Scrubs. But you could do your own
podcast.
You could do your own podcast about Scrubs all by yourself.
Easily,
I haven't seen the new one, actually.
It's excellent.
But yeah, it was, I think because of like the DVD thing as well. Well, that was important then. And the fact that, and that was driven by PS2s as well. So you've got the whole thing of it. The Family Guy sell PS2s and the PS2s sell Family Guy, and because he's so like his tentacles were everywhere, and I didn't realise he's 52. I thought he was a bit younger than that, but obviously that makes sense. But I think without meaning to, but I like Member Berries, so yeah, for me it would have been a lot worse.
Fair. Right, okay, so we'll do what we've done with the last couple of weeks then. I want your top five. So I want a favourite joke, a favourite non-Griffin character, favourite song, favourite episode, favourite pop culture reference. We'll do them one at a time. So, Stu, what's your favourite joke in the show? It can be a running joke or just a one-off. It doesn't necessarily have to be Family Guy. It can be from one of his other projects as well in the animated sphere.
The one that I did these all on like first impression as well. The first thing that popped into my head, and every time, and mainly because they were everywhere at this point, and you had all different characters on them. The JFK Pez dispenser was, and then he getting shot off, and well, there's moments like that obviously it's not linked to anything else, but it was just I remember because I think it was my sister had loads of them. And I thought, Pez is shit sweet anyway. Like, why isn't anyone eating this stuff? And then you get them, and they're just the spring goes, and then you have to throw them away, and you keep the top part. But no one keeps the top part; you keep the whole thing. And they were everywhere. And the fact that they came up with something as was it even controversial? I can't remember.
I think it was. I vaguely remember one of the living Kennedys. Fuck knows which one. They'll be dead soon anyway. They came out saying, "Oh, it's a disgraceful thing to make a joke about his death." Like there was genuinely a bit of a furore about it. I was like, "Okay, mate, who cares?"
He's a Pez dispenser.
Yeah, Ash.
Mine's, I'd say, it's not Family Guy. It's an American Dad one. It's when Steve learns to be a clown, and he's waiting for the teacher. And the teacher here is supposed to be the most intense and demanding instructor in all of clowning, and shit, it's Roger, isn't it? It's going to be Roger. It's just, like we're so thingied of Roger just being these different characters, and you just know it's going to be. And then when Steve figures it out, and it just tickles me every time. Yeah. It's going to be Roger, isn't it?
I like the who else but Quagmire. Like those little weird interstitials. Like he'd say something horrendous and then the who else but Quagmire. I like that. And when he went to a party that Meg was at and was talking to a girl, he said, "How old are you?" And she said, 15. And he replied, 18. All right. I like it when Quagmire's an awful piece of shit. That always makes me laugh.
It's when he discovers porn as well. That one tickles me as well, and comes out after 3 days, and he's just he sees sunlight for the first time. 3 days. I've got to go back in.
Ash, who's your favourite non-Griffin? Because I feel like the Griffins are the big family, so even if you've got someone from American Dad, I think that's reasonable. The Griffins are really where his power comes from, I think.
I genuinely, for as much as I don't like the programme, I like Patrick Warburton, and I always I like hearing him as Joe. I think I do feel sympathy for Joe in a sense, but I think Joe Swanson's quite a good character.
Stu?
Giggity. Obvious. So I ruined it earlier. Quagmire's just... Remember when I said before about that when I had that neighbour? It was the neighbour who got thrown out of his house because his wife had caught him with another woman who just happened to be his own sister. He looked very similar to...
I'm sorry. We've skirted over something there, Stu.
Yeah, so she was back. I've said this before. I'm sure I've said this story before.
I mean, I'm pretty certain I'd have remembered it if you had.
So she was back. They were having a doorstep, like proper Jerry McKyle. He's throwing his clothes out the window and all this kind of stuff. He's like, "Oh, no, there's no need for that." And she's like, "Well, you know what you've done and all the usual stuff." And then because their house kind of backed away from the street, and ours was sticking out, so we could see from the landing window, you could see everything. And everyone's curtains are all twitched and they're all gone. And then the immortal words came out of her mouth, said, "You're not coming back in this house. You fucked your sister." And it was only the one time. But it was the way he said it was like such confidence.
Like it was all right if it was once.
Yeah, like it was all right if it was once. And that was what Quagmire was like. He reminded me so much of him. Even the hair and everything. And
that's atrocious.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, just the only one out of the whole thing where you think, a bit like the Cartman thing that we talked about before, like last week, about how Cartman's despicable, and yet it's funny. Like Quagmire's got certain tendencies that kind of questionable but funny.
Yeah.
So it was him for me.
Like I do like Quagmire for those reasons. Like I do think he's a good character for those. Same with Herbert, the old paedophile. Like it's just funny, but it's wrong. But I think Roger the Alien is probably the best sort of like proper character out there. For pretty much the same reasons that I think Mo is the best non-Simpson. Because whatever you need him to do, he's there doing it. He's like the show needs him to really be the glue to keep everything together. He can afford to be absolutely fucking ridiculous because the rest of it is revolving around him, and he's vital, and he's never the same character in any 2 episodes. He's just a maniac, and I think he's great because of it. So yeah, Roger the Alien's my favourite non-Griffin. Favourite song? It's Somewhere That's Screen from the version that he did of the Little Shop of Horrors. I mean, I've made no secret of my love of that film. I saw it 3 times in a week, like not that long ago, including going to the cinema to see it. I adore it. So every time they do a Little Shop parody, I'm in my element. And obviously because that was Herbert and Chris in that one, it was funny and creepy and wrong. Stu?
I mean, I'm taking a bit of liberties, but Ted is an animated character in the film, and just because... I knew someone who used to sing at Thunder. Thunder, but it's only, 30, 40 seconds long. It just tickled me at the time, and I thought, yeah, you're pretty much like Craig. Yeah, big up Craig Sanson, hello. Yeah, and that was again the first thing that jumped out of my head. I'm forgetting a lot of things, obviously, but that film has almost been forgotten about. I know we've talked about the series a lot, but the film it needs repping again. It needs to come back because no one talks about it anymore.
Decent. The second film was shit though, but yeah, the first film was good, but the series is so much better. Like genuinely, the series, I think, and apparently they're doing an animated series as well because it's too expensive to do live action Ted. So yeah, they're doing an animated series. Yeah, so I'm cool with that. Ash, favourite song?
I can't remember. It's not very long, but it's actually from Family Guy. When Peter joins the barbershop quartet and sings "You've Got AIDS." It still tickled.
Yeah,
we were singing that and outside for a long time after that.
Brilliant. Favourite episode, Stu?
It's what was mentioned. Jerome is the New Black earlier. Just because it's the best put down of all time, and it's so right.
Which one?
The one where Quagmire just lays into him.
Oh, yes, that one. Yeah,
just class.
Yeah.
Was it season like 6 or something like that? It's round about that time, As it wasn't much longer after that I stopped watching it anyway. But like everyone skirts around Peter's bollocks all the time and just lets him get away with it. It's gone.
Ash?
Season 2, episode 1 of American Dad, Camp Refugi. When Stan wants Steve to go to a summer camp and he can't get to one, so he ends up taking him to a refugee camp, and they have the Olympics event.
I forgot about that. Oh, Christ, yeah.
It's the group photo with the Camp Refugi, and there's all the black kids, and then there's just Stan and Steve just there in the middle.
Yeah, that is good. The vacation goo. So it's the one where the Smith family want to go on holiday, but Stan wants to stay and work. So they go on holiday, but then they wake up and realise that they're in the goo, and the whole holiday has been like an AI-generated simulation. Because Stan's such a shitbag. I really like that one. I like any time that Stan gets caught out for being a twat. I think that's quite good. So yeah, vacation goo for American Dad. Favourite pop culture reference? There's only one for me that immediately stands out. I'm kind of wondering if either of you two may pick it. Ash, I'll come to you first. You may not, in fairness. Stu might be the one, if anyone.
I couldn't really think of one. I might have to pass, to be honest. I couldn't really think of one.
Fair. Stu?
I mean, I've got it because it was last year. And it actually tickled me. And then, especially when we said we got to do this, the Maverick one.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's bound to be around somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll find it on the YouTubes.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I only saw the clip anyway. Because he's there. And he's like, and you've got to train Goose's son. And it's class. No spoilers for the clip from last year. It's out there somewhere. Yeah, that was one that just jumped in because it was fresh in my mind and it was relevant.
Fair. I thought you may have gone with the one I have, and it's Blue Harvest, the Star Wars episode they did.
Oh,
the first one was absolutely... I know that's like a full... I mean, it's not even an episode. It's an hour-long DVD special, wasn't it, that was released? I thought that was brilliant. Immediately, it was diminishing returns because the second was all right and the third was shit. But that first one was fantastic when that was done. So that was mine.
The only one I can sort of think of is it's used more of a meme now, is when Peter gets pulled over and it's the colour chart.
Yeah, the colour, yeah.
The okay, not okay. You see that so much in certain things and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Excellent. Right, okay, after the break, we're going to be doing our short film review. We'll be discussing Boy, I'm Scared from 2025. Welcome back. It's the short film review. We're talking about Boy, I'm Scared, a walk on a beach. 3 friends from across the world share what may be their last conversation. It was a semi-finalist in the 2025 Student Academy Awards, available on YouTube or at Instagram if you search for Boy, I'm Scared _film. Ash, would you like to go first this week?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, let me pull up my timer. Right, okay. You tell me when you want to go, and I will hit go.
Ready.
Okay.
It was a beautiful sort of look at how we are as a society today, where you don't have to be with your friends per se, as long as you're there and you have the technology of being around each other, you can see each other, you can hear each other, and that's sort of the look of the technology. It took a while for me to realise what was sort of going on. I thought it was just kids going about their day, and I was just like, and then you sort of see it coming, and you're just like, oh shit. And then when the penny drops, you're like, oh, okay, this is actually quite beautiful, and they're just accepting, and the feeling of acceptance of their fate. It was, it probably took me a little bit too long to realise where we were going, but when we got there, it was quite a beautiful little piece.
Excellent, thank you. Stu, tell me when to hit go.
Tell me why. Very similar. I was so bored for 5 of the 6 minutes of this film until the end, and I thought, how is this still going on? I mean, it looks like a Studio Ghibli film. It looks amazing, to be fair to it. And I thought, is this trying to say something about why all these beautiful moments are going on, and yet you're stuck with the phone in his hand? And then, obviously, when you realise, no, this is the whole point of this, that he's still with his friends, but they're not with him physically. And again, it's an analogy for this podcast. This is the reason we did this in the first place, because we're bored and we couldn't leave our house. But whereas that was 6 minutes, this is 6 years. Yeah, I'm glad I stuck with it, all 6 minutes of it. It's worth a shot. It's something very different.
Yeah. Just on the animation, if you go onto the Google and type in the name of the film, the first link that comes up, I think, is Metha, possibly Metha.com, Metha.art. They've got some of the stills from it, and the artwork is gorgeous. Right, okay. My turn now. Okay. So this is an animated indie short about the important things you do when time gets short on you. Following 3 friends from different parts of the globe sharing a final conversation over a video call. A film showing that when time runs out, it's not with a bang, but with a quiet heartbreak. What hit me most about this film is how it explores the realities of modern friendships, how they're formed and maintained, and not always face-to-face, but sometimes via text and voice notes and video calls and all the tech that we lean on today. Relationships aren't limited to those you know from work or school anymore. They can be friends from the other side of the world. Like, shout out to Todd and Jafo, people who talk to pretty much daily. And whilst these friendships may be a million miles away from you, it doesn't make them any less real and profound and important. It's a heavy watch, and the reveal is sad and slow, but it's eerily beautiful in this overwhelming way. I think if you're a fan of BoJack Horseman, you'll identify similarities with the sincerity and the emotional devastation of this beautifully animated short. Right after the break, it is 1992's Far and Away. Welcome back to the final part of the podcast. Released May 22nd, 1992. Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman in Far and Away. The first thing I thought watching this was, have I got this wrong? Is this a slapstick comedy? Because Cruise's dies like right at the beginning from having a very soft fall. He comes back alive, dies again. He's working in a field and his brothers walk up to him with a bottle of alcohol, decide they want to scrap, and so they just start punching and kicking each other. Cruise shoots a gun which explodes in his hands. Like, I thought this was a Looney Tunes comedy for a good 45 minutes of this film, and that wasn't the film I thought it was going to be at any point. It had all the tropes and stylings of comedy, but without any actual funny parts. I thought it was a really weird film. Like, tonally throughout it was just mismatching itself consistently.
Have you lost something again?
No, I was waiting for you to talk. Sorry,
No,
I was pulling other notes up whilst I was. Yeah,
you just went on a blank expression. Kind of like what I thought I was going to have watching this after 5 minutes. Seeing Spud going from bottom and the young ones at the start, very nice. I presume it's his brother or something. Again, not knowing what this was, and then hearing him do the accent. I mean, the fact that in Ireland this is seen as a dark comedy kind of says it all to what you just said. And when I was typing it into on the service, because obviously we couldn't find it otherwise, all I could think of was "Far, Far Away" by Slade, which is a better song than this is a film. But saying that, it was way too long. Didn't need to be that long at all. But I kind of enjoyed it a little bit. Like, it didn't piss me off. It didn't annoy me. The accents never really got that annoying, or that. I mean, to my ears, obviously, if you're born and bred over there, then it's got to be a disgrace. But to my untrained ears, most of them were fine. But the whole thing of her being well-to-do and then not, and the whole switching thing, thought, yeah, like, cute touch. But it is what it is. I'm glad we watched it and ticked it off the box, but I'm watching it again.
Ash,
I've lived in Ireland for about 6 to 7 years of my life. When he turned up and he started talking, oh my God, oh Jesus Christ, you fucking awful.
For sure.
I had to put subtitles on. I couldn't fucking understand half of them. No, genuinely, there was some of them I was like, I've no fucking clue what you're saying, pal. So yeah, I had to put subtitles on. Some of them were okay. Some of them fucking weren't.
Yeah, it was egregious. Like, he was flying all over Ireland with those different accents. It was horrendous. He had no idea where he was coming from. Kidman was no better. The story was fine. Like, you can see where it's most of it you can see where it's going, and then the last 30 minutes it turns into the fucking grand fucking thing. And it's just, what the fuck was that? And it's just, yeah, it's bottom 5 for me, easy.
I quite liked the last 20 minutes, but it's a long fucking 2 hours to get to the last 20 minutes. Like, it's a slog, because it starts off, as I said, almost comedic, slapsticky, and not at all what it should be. Then it turns quite gritty with Colmini. I thought Colmini was good. I think he's generally good in everything anyway, in fairness. Like, he's a solid actor. And we needed that villain, because the only other antagonist in the film is still in Ireland, like he's a million miles away. So we needed something to, like, you know, the bit of the sand in the ointment kind of thing, just to give us a bit of something. So I thought Colmini, I'll praise him for his work. As I said, I enjoyed the land race, and I think, from what I've read, this is the first time in 20-odd years where 65mm cameras were used. So everything looks absolutely fucking stunning. And on modern 4K TVs, it looks brilliant. Like, it's a really good film visually. It's just a shame that the film is utter fucking propaganda. Like, we know that Cruise does propaganda stuff. He's not immune to doing, you know, the American dream is the best thing in the world. But this film feels like it completely ignored the realities of what Irish immigrants would have been through. And obviously it completely ignores the fact that the land that they were grabbing during the race, they were grabbing off the Native Americans, and they're completely ignored in this film. And it just kind of feels like, I think if Ron Howard were to make this film today, I think he's a better director now, a better writer now, and he would probably do more with it. It feels quite juvenile in a way that I don't associate with Ron Howard anymore, because he feels like a grown-up director now.
I mean, it's 3 films in one as well. Like, it's not just 3 acts; it's 3 films, because they are, like you said, they're tonally different. Like, the start is ridiculous, and then the middle part is it's like Gangs of New York, and then the last 25 minutes is Wagons East. And you think,
I thought it was Wacky Races.
Yeah, well, yeah,
yeah, it was.
It's a bizarre amalgamation of things. I never even considered the Indian stuff at all, which says it all, really. But the whole thing about, it's the American dream when she's there selling her spoons and all that, and then, but you do get that bit where she lands and then they're immediately stolen from her. I thought, oh yeah, there you go. It's not what you think it is. So it serves you right.
So does he run quite a few times Like, I think most notably during the land race climax, does he take his shirt off? Like,
he's wearing a pot. That's it.
I'm gonna say, yeah. There's one part I thought we were going to see his cock. So yeah, we see. Like, I would say he probably is shirtless more than he is shirted in this film. He doesn't wear sunglasses. Tinted lenses were around in the 1800s, but that would have been something not for the masses back then. It's more flat caps and terrible Irish accents in this one.
You mentioned the thing about the pot. Did you see it on one of the trivia section where Ron Howard didn't like the reaction that she gave when she did it first time round? So asked him to take everything off, and he obviously just did. And the reaction of her seeing it for the first time in the film was the reaction that ends up in the film.
Wow. That's very cruisy as well, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Of course it is.
For fuck's sake. We get a few explosions in this. The gun that's used to shoot the landlord, which explodes in his hands. There's a few cannons going off and guns being shot in the air because America. Yeah. Cruise doing cruise things then. So getting in the nip for a scene is very cruisy. It's actually quite a physical performance, I think, during that middle act and most of like the third act as well. Running around, hot, sweaty boxing, horse riding and stunts. That was mostly Cruise, including the one where he jumps off the horse at the end of the land race. In preparation for the role, Cruise spent weeks in Ireland learning how to plough fields and do the accent badly, obviously. Fucking ridiculous. The pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that feels like that's becoming a bit of a Cruise trope as well. Very American Dream, isn't it? And yeah, he seems to be the poster boy for that.
You said the accent thing that you said about hers wasn't great either, but her dialect coach, it was the first time he did an Irish accent.
That explains so much, doesn't it? Horrific. So Cruise, he claimed that it was the most epic film that he had made at the time. He also said that he's watched it 10 times, and regardless of what the critics have said, he is proud of it. Cruise and Ron Howard have got a lot of mutual respect for each other. Howard has described Cruise as the most focused being I've ever worked with, and Cruise reciprocated, calling Howard a director who paints on a massive canvas. So Scientology watch. We're going back to 1991. So the last film was 1990. This is 92. In between, there was a Time magazine article all about the Church of Scientology. The article was titled Scientology, the Thriving Cult of Greed and Power, published on May 6th, 1991 by Richard Behar. It wasn't just a critique, it was a full-scale declaration of war. Right. So firstly, the article didn't pull any punches. It described Scientology as a ruthless global scam and a mafia-like organisation. Behar exposed that L. Ron Hubbard internally referred to new recruits as raw meat. It detailed how Scientologist named Stephen Fishman stole $1 million in stock certificates to pay for church courses. When he was caught, Fishman claimed the church ordered him to kill his psychiatrist and then commit an EOC, which stands for end of cycle. This is church jargon for suicide. The church told him to kill himself. It was revealed the Church of Spiritual Technology had an income of over $503 million in 1987 alone, despite portraying itself as a struggling minority religion. There was a story in there about a couple named The Rose. They told Time that they spent $23,000 in a week for counselling in California. They realised the church seemed to know too much about their private conversations, only to discover that the hotel room had been booked by the organisation. When they tried to leave, they were literally chased down the street by Scientologists in cars. The emotional heart of the piece was about Noah Lottick, a 24-year-old who jumped from a 10th floor story window clutching $171. This was the only money he hadn't yet given to the church. His father famously told Time, "We thought Scientology was like a self-help group. I now believe it is a school for psychopaths." The church didn't just write a letter to the editor about this, they went full game on them. We've said before, full game is basically where the church decides that, so fair game is where they can go full force and say whatever the fuck they want to smear these people. So they tried to sue Time, Richard Behar and Time Warner for nearly $500 million. It took 10 years to resolve, but the courts just eventually dismissed it, ruling that Behar's reporting was accurate and done without actual malice. For 12 straight weeks after the article, the church bought a full-page ad in USA Today every single day to attack Time magazine. It was a PR campaign so massive and bizarre that journalism professors still study it as a how-to on aggressive counterspin. There were some private investigators. Richard Behar reported being followed by PIs throughout his investigation. The church even allegedly tried to frame him for tax evasion and credit card fraud during the process.
In
Fucking
1 year.
psychopaths. Yeah. Yeah. The poor lad who took his life, Noah Lottig, his dad saying that it's a school for psychopaths. That's just so fucking accurate. It's quite scary.
Yeah, the Netflix documentary on it is mad. Well, there's a few of them, but there was the one that they kind of broke it down episode by episode. It's just insane.
Yeah, I've started watching the Leah Remini.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, what is it called? Going Clear, is it? You got a couple. You got Scientology in the Aftermath, I think is the one that was the documentary, which also had like a film version of it as well, which I think. Or Going Clear might have been one of the other books. There's so much out there of people who just got so far with them and was like, I'm done. So there's quite a lot out there now for what was quite a clandestine organisation. There are no award nominations at the big three for this one, shockingly. Yeah. There is a Razzie nomination, though. So previously, it was a cumulative 8 nominations and 2 wins for films featuring Cruise. So there it's 9 nominations because the Enya Book of Days song was nominated for the worst original song, losing out to Hard Times from Newsies. I don't know. I know of Newsies, but I've never seen it, and I couldn't tell you what the song is.
That's a bit harsh.
It's not good, though. I mean, like, Enya is... Like, it's awful. Let's be honest. Enya is absolutely horrific.
Enya's water, is she? That's what she is.
Like, you can tell that it exists, but it's clear, it's see-through, it's not real, almost, yeah. Critical response, Roger Ebert gave it a thumbs down, calling it depressingly conventional, saying the land race was the only reason to watch. Gene Siskel was more forgiving, but called the plot corny, which is fair. The modern reassessment, critics now view it as a beautiful failed experiment, praised it for its stunning 65mm cinematography, but the accents and the Disney-fied version of Irish history are ridiculed. Through the Shattered Lens magazine, Far and Away was Ron Howard's attempt to make an American epic at the style of John Ford. It doesn't work because Tom Cruise is too contemporary to be believable as a 19th century Irish immigrant. It's exactly it. Like, you look at Tom Cruise and he's not someone from the 1890s.
He's got teeth.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. The film contains not an ounce of passion. It's predictable, uninspiring story with the narrative complexity of a curious George reader, according to Martin Teller, which is modern reassessment. Yeah, that would have made an awkward Maverick film, wouldn't it? So the budget and box office, 60 million budget, giving us a cumulative total of 290.8. The box office return was $137.8 million, which gives us a cumulative total of $1,723.5 million. Tom Cruise is selling films on his name alone at this point. Like, you put his name on a film, people are turning up for it. There's no other explanation.
Them across the pond would have lapped that shit up, though, I think.
Oh, yeah, the ones who pretend to be Irish as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Massive in Philadelphia and Boston, yeah.
During the last fight scene with the Italians and the Irish, all I could think of is all of them are just losing their heads at this. It's like, fucking, oh my God. Look, it's my ancestor. Fuck you.
So, Stu, Cruise or Cage?
Well, we know that Cage can't do accents at all. So, Cage...
It wouldn't have been worse, though, would it, I don't think?
I mean, he would have been more believable as an Irish immigrant, though.
Yeah.
So from that sense, yeah, he could have done this.
Fair. Ash?
I can't see Nicolas Cage getting Nicole Kidman. That's the only thing that I think would have been unrealistic.
I
don't think they would have mixed well, but I think I'd actually rather see Nicolas Cage do this role. Because, like you say, I could see him being an Irish immigrant.
Like, I almost feel the answer should be neither. I don't think either one should have done this. Cage at this point is doing Honeymoon in Vegas, which I thought was quite a sweet, quirky comedy with Sarah Jessica Parker. Actually, in fairness, Cage and Sarah Jessica Parker might have been a good substitution for the pair in this. Yeah. There would have been no worse anyway. And obviously, I think at this point, Cruise is trying to make his name as a character actor, but he's not equipped for this role in the slightest. He's more of an actor with character, not a character actor. So I don't really want to say Cruise, because Cruise feels like he's the kid from Top Gun playing a poor potato farmer. And that's exactly what he is, and it feels so out of place in this movie. So I'm leaning towards Cage because I think this is a weak performance from Cruise.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, it would never have happened. He'd probably been too old, wouldn't he? But what was Kenneth Branagh doing in '92?
That's a good question, actually. Like, my first thought would have been Daniel Day-Lewis, but that might just be because he's Irish as well. Yeah, but I think this wanted to be a serious film. Like, I think this is what I think Howard wanted it to be, an epic, and it just didn't work. So Kenneth Branagh would have been, he was born in '60, so he would have been 30-ish at this point. So what's his IMDb saying for 1990-ish? So he's done Look Back in Anger, a TV movie, Dead Again, Peter's Friends. He's doing a lot of like stage work as well at this point, like Henry V and stuff like that. So he would probably have been more of a stage actor than I think he would have been a known TV actor at this point. I think Frankenstein would probably have been his breakout in '94.
Who was Othello?
That was '95. Well, that's interesting. So we had, so we've got Henry V in '89. We've got Much Ado About Nothing in '93. Then we've got Othello, Hamlet, The Gingerbread Man. I don't think that one's Shakespeare. So he's putting out quite a lot of Shakespeare stuff at that point in his career because that's what he's known for. Like, he's a Shakespearean stage actor. But he would have been a decent choice here because he's a solid actor. Yeah, just anybody but the ones that they did actually pick, I think, would have worked better.
James Nesbitt.
Yeah, probably. Probably, in fairness. Ash I've asked you. Yes, I have. Is Cruise the saviour of cinema or just another sinner?
For this one, I think a rare one at this point, but he's a sinner after this. This isn't good.
Like, it's another great box office, but I think Cruise is realising that he's not a character actor. I think this is where he's thinking, I need to sort of pivot back to the other kind of work. So, yeah, I'm agreeing it's a sinner. Stu, Full House, 3 sinners?
Yeah, this is not a good performance from him. It's very average. He could have been anyone. The fact that we're talking about James Nesbitt, who actually 2 years later was in Cold Feet, so he would have been about the right age, funnily enough. And yeah, he's different. I know before people start, but yeah.
Get the balaclavas out.
We don't want kneecapping. Leave them alone.
If you enjoyed Far and Away, you may also like Stu.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one, I think, Australia. That was fucking boring as well. So it's a good recommendation, isn't it, really? You know what? I'm going to say, I've mentioned it already. Wagons East. Have a laugh.
Why not? Yeah. Ash?
I feel like it was trying to be Gangs of New York, so I'll go with that. There was the bit on the boat when I kind of jokingly went, "Oh, it's Titanic," and I think it'd have been a better film if it was Titanic because this would have ended quicker.
Yeah, I've gone. Sorry, Stu.
She's very Rose-like as well, was she?
Yeah. I've gone with Gangs of New York and Killers of the Flower Moon. I think as a double feature because it's telling you the true or a better version, a more realistic version of the Irish immigrant story, and it's also not ignoring the Native Americans and telling you about their. So I think it's a double feature. Just ignore Far and Away. Just watch those two. Actually, I think that'd be a great double feature for the real American dream.
Yeah,
the American nightmare more so.
That's had 2 days in bed after watching that.
It's a long haul, but they are 2 very good fucking films.
They're so dense, though.
They are. Right, so next week, what have we got to watch? So next week, we are watching an Academy Award-winning short film called Piper. It's an animated film. It's available on YouTube. I will put the link for Boy, I'm Scared. At 6 minutes long, you can do a lot worse than giving that one a watch. The cruise then stops off at A Few Good Men, which I am really fucking excited about. I feel like this is one of the black spots where I'm like, I absolutely should have seen that film before now. And it's one that I feel like I know it because... I know. It's one that, like, because I know that the memes and the scene is so iconic, I feel like I know it without having actually watched it. So I'm really looking forward to watching that one next week.
Proper cinema.
So if you would like to give us a follow on the socials, it's at Cage Fighting Pod.
What's the animations for next week?
Piper.
3 minutes.
No, the animate month.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the final part of the animation. We're going to be looking at existentialism, lads. It's getting exciting. It's going to be BoJack. It's going to be Rick and Morty. It's the modern day, how things are a little bit more mature than they have been, maybe. But yeah, it's existentialism week in the animation.
You're going to have to put with me and Andy talking about BoJack for half an hour.
I may just hand over to you to run that episode, Stu, because... Yeah,
I've seen a bit of BoJack and a lot of Rick and Morty, so yeah, I'll ask the questions for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be that Big Mouth as well, and those kind of films. Like, I think the streaming era of animation has given us quite a lot of good stuff. So it's a bit more of a pick and mix next week rather than we've been a bit specific. I think Netflix is the author rather than Seth MacFarlane or The Simpsons for next week's episode. So, yeah, as I was saying, at Cage Fighting Pod on the socials, cagefightingpod@gmail.com. If you want to send us any emails, if you want to make sure that you subscribe to whatever podcatcher that you listen to us as well. And review would really help because that would then push us out a little bit and other eyes and ears may see and hear our beautiful West Midlands and Northern... Actually, I don't even know what your accent is. It's a little bit everywhere.
What, mine?
Yeah.
I don't really have an accent, to be honest. I've lived so many different places. There's no real accent.
It's like,
I say it's a bit just England, I suppose, is anything you could say.
It's like diluted squash Chester. That's kind of what it is.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, there's no scouse in there, I don't think.
Not anymore.
It's maybe... It's almost Potteries-ish. Slightly. Just insulting him now, I think.
Yeah, just keep going.
Put it in... ask ChatGPT where he's from.
Can ChatGPT, like, listen to stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know if you
one of them's Ben too.
Almost certainly. I don't use enough AI to really know what's what with it all. I'm sure we'll find them. Anyway, for this week, Ash, would you like to say goodbye?
I still think it's the maid. Goodbye.
Yes.
Stu, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I stayed till the end as well because I had to compose myself rather than knowing that there was something at the end. Yeah, just remember, all chests are equal in the eyes of the Lord.
And it's goodbye from me too. And remember, pretend you love me.